Emerging Canadian country artist Angelica Appelman just released her brand new single, Finding My Feet, on January 31st, and I'm joined by Angelica on the phone. How's it going, Angelica?
I'm doing great. How are you, Aaron?
I'm doing just fantastic. So Finding My Feet, great tune, beautiful vocals, very relatable and vulnerable lyrics. You know, that's what I really felt when I listened to it, and I really think everyone can take a piece from it and really imagine that it's been written for them. So personally, you know, I couldn't help but think about my youngest daughter who's going to be going away to university in the fall.
Yeah.
But tell me a little bit about the track, you know, in your own words.
Sorry, I'm getting a little bit emotional because that was exactly what I wanted to do with this song. Was I wanted to write this song for my younger self, or somebody who needs to hear this, that's kind of going through a life-changing experience. So hearing that connects with your daughter, that makes my heart really happy.
Yeah, it really did. Well, you know, as you know, it's a really exciting time for her, and change can be scary, and change is a big deal, right? So, that's it. When I listened to the song, I immediately thought of her, and that's where it brought me to. And I'm a 40-something-year-old man, right? So, but it's all about that connection, I guess, right?
Yes, I love that. It came from a place for me after my devastating car accident 2 years ago. I was struck by a truck on the 401 at a really high rate of speed, and then he took off, and by the grace of God, I was able to get out of the car, but I had hit my head off of the steering wheel, the headrest, and the side window. And as a result of that, I now suffer from a brain injury because I was able to get out of the car, and I'm looking around and freaking out in the middle of traffic on the 401 trying to say, who hit me? Who hit me? I was almost struck again as a pedestrian. But I was very, very lucky to have this guardian angel Samaritan who happened to be there right at that moment and wrap his arms around me and bring me to safety. So I am just so grateful for that, and for those people that do stop. But I have had a lot to work through, and because of that, I had to move home with my parents from my one-bedroom apartment, where that one-bedroom apartment was where I did all of my growing up. I wrote all of my songs. I really found my independence, and then you get stripped of that, and I'm over at my parents' place, and they gave me a small little bedroom where I was basically learning to find my feet again, and so much so that I was learning how to talk properly again, because I was talking in scrambled egg sentences and all of that, and finding my balance, actually, because I had something going on in my brain that made me a little off balance. And this song is a healing journey, all about when life gives you these terrible circumstances or these struggles, because we all struggle with something, just to keep putting one foot in front of the other and to keep hope and to keep resilient. And that's what this song means to me.
Beautiful, Angelica, and kudos to you for persevering and pouring your heart and soul into this song and getting back on your feet again. That's an amazing story and very inspirational. Talk a little bit about the song as well. You know, the words have deep meaning to you. You had a bit of a team, I guess, to put the whole piece together, right?
Absolutely. When I came up with this title, it was kind of a little muttering of me saying, when someone was asking me, oh, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, well, I'm finding my feet, I guess. And as most songwriters do, we go, aha, light bulb moment, that's a song. And I was trying to find something that would describe what I was going through, and I knew I wanted to write a song about that. And the first thing I did was I wrote it in my phone. I started coming up with a few ideas, and then I texted my most trusted songwriter friend, Rich Cloke, who I've written a lot of my songs with. And I told him, I said, I think I have found the right title and the right story for my song. And it was just a coincidence that at the same time I was already talking to Daryl Scott about booking a write, and he was thinking about like, oh, what are you thinking? Can we do it this week? And then I was just like, oh my goodness, wouldn't it be great to put Rich, who I have so much trust in, and then Daryl, who has so much experience writing with these amazing songwriters like Jade Eagleson, Zach Brown Band, and he basically was like, yes, I'm in. Him and Rich have written before. And then he brought along Jesse Slack, who is another amazing songwriter. Also Jade Eagleson, Robyn Ottolini. Like, I was like, wow, I've got a group of like really, really great writers here to tell this story. So I felt like I was in such a safe place. And they were so great at mentoring me to actually keep the song not super personal to just my story. They were like, Angelica, you have something here that could really impact others. And the best way to explain this is to just come from that relatability of how you feel. It doesn't necessarily have to be like talking about your car accident. It can just be those like, what is the heart of what we're trying to say? And when we found the heart and kind of those different snapshots of what that struggle or what that journey looks like, that's when we were like, oh, wow, this is special and this could be relatable to many. And I'm just so grateful to them as mentors because I learned so much in that songwriting process. They were telling me things like, I'd be like, okay, well, I want to say like a cool way of this. And they were like, no. They were like, just say it how you want to say it. And like, just keep going back to the reality and the feelings in the heart. And that was a really cool moment for me as a songwriter because I like to write a lot of words in my songs. And to realize just the simplicity and how strong that can be was a really, really great moment for me and something I will never forget going forward when I write my music.
There's definitely a certain level of magic to music. It sounds like you really struck some of that, I guess, with this song, right?
We were just so open and willing, and it was a very like therapeutic write. Actually, we were kind of all sharing our stories. And what I love so much about the fact that this song is so relatable and hits your heart and everything is that I have a very energetic set. I play like Shania medleys. I've got like Queen, and I've got my own upbeat originals, but in every middle section of my set, I always make a point to tell my story and sing this song. And after every show, that is the one thing that all the fans and all of the people that were there at the show come up to me and talk to me about. And I was just like, this is just a whole other level of connection with my audience. And it's great because then when you're being vulnerable, your audience is vulnerable with you and they share their stories, and then you have a deeper connection, and it just feels like you're gaining a fan for life because you have that bond.
Keeping it simple and maybe not relating every word to your exact experience, it just allows the audience, allows your fans to, well, like I said earlier, just take the words and relate it to their own experiences, relate it to their own life or their own situation that given day, right? And that's that's part of that magic, I think, right? That's what a songwriter, I would think, would strive to do.
Absolutely. And I think it was a turning point for me that, yes, I am telling my stories, but I'm not doing this just for me. And it reminded me of why I got into music in the first place. I was kind of a 13-year-old who was angsty and Taylor Swifting my way through high school. And I was just trying to get out all my feelings and things that would happen during the day. And I was thinking about how like those words would impact others, and writing stories about, being bullied, and like how I would tell the person who was being bullied like that it was okay and things like that. So it brought me back to my 13-year-old self, where I was really thinking about what music does to impact others. And I think going forward, I'm going to bring that little me to every write and remember that it's not just about me, it's about my listeners and what they can relate to as well.
And from what I understand too, going back a few years, I guess, during the pandemic, I guess before your accident, you really started focusing on writing a little bit more and working in some writing groups. Is that right?
Yes. I finally decided to share some of the songs I had been writing since I was 13 up until like all through university and all of that with my voice coach, Amanda Kind. And she is very well connected within the Kitchener-Waterloo community. And because we were all shut down, she had started a group with a few other musicians and songwriters, a virtual group, just to keep the community going and keep us creative and keep us writing. And I started off as a top liner in this group, and I think that she, as well as some of the other folks in there, saw that I had potential to be the artist in the group. So the way that the groups kind of worked out was you would have 2 top liners, a producer, and an artist in each group. And then you had a month to put together a song. It was really cool. And we did it all virtually. And I finally had the courage to say, yeah, I think I want to be the artist. And she set me up with my producer of my first album, Matt Cable. And we worked really well together. That's actually where Guilt Trip was formed, my second single that I ever put out. That's where I met Jesse T and many other great songwriters that were on my first EP. Honestly, that opened up even further songwriting circles within the community. Speaking of my trusted songwriter, Rich Cloke, him and Elias James, they started this songwriting group called Cuttable that we did in 2021. It was all virtual. And it was just like little songwriting camps, basically random. You get selected to be in these groups, and then you write 2 songs, and then you're also networking with other songwriters, artists in the community in Ontario. And that was a great gateway for me to kind of step into the country scene.
It's nice to hear about the evolution of your career and with Finding My Feet, your latest song. This is part of a bit of a bigger project?
Yeah, I'm writing my sophomore EP, which will be coming out later this year. And it's kind of all about my journey of growing up and learning and being human and all the different connections and complexities that we have in life. And the EP is going to be called Breaking the Habit. And because I've done so much self-discovery, counseling, been through a lot of life, the EP kind of encompasses all of the different habits that I needed to break to be the best version of myself. But in also writing these songs, I made them relatable because there's a lot of different habits that we all have that we need to break. And I think a lot of the ones that I need to break are a lot of the ones that my audience needs to break to be the best version of themselves.
And with this new album, you've played a lot of live shows over the years. You know, you played in Toronto, you played at the Country Hoedown in our neck of the woods here in Chatham, Kent. You've also played the Cavendish Beach Music Festival, Kitchen Stage. I haven't been to that event, but we were at SWOMP Festival last year in Cavendish, and it is absolutely gorgeous out there. I kind of sometimes I close my eyes and just wish I was there, especially when it's snowy and gloomy here in southwestern Ontario. But
absolutely.
But what can fans expect, Angelica, for any shows, I guess, corresponding with your new album?
So I'm going to be playing the Sauble Beach Party Festival. I'm really excited about that because there is such a wild lineup. Like, I'm pretty sure Brett Young is on that lineup, the Rec Laws. So that's really cool. And then I'm going to be involved in some amazing initiatives with the Canadian Mental Health Association, with both the Waterloo and Wellington region, as well as Ontario and potentially nationally, which is just so wild. I started a partnership with them with the song Finding My Feet. and they are going to have me as part of their women's run that they do in May. And we're looking to have me be the ambassador of the event, and I will get to share that song. And there's going to be a lot of different events that I will be a part of, sharing my story and sharing this song and getting to play for their communities all across Ontario. So I am unbelievably excited about that, especially if there's going to be national coverage. It's just so wild, and it's amazing that I get to connect with the target audience of this group. There was about 2,600 women who did the run that are all affected by mental health in some way or have families that are connected in some way. And they raised about $200,000 last year. So I'm really excited. It's also in partnership with Shoppers Drug Mart. So there might be some cool opportunities there. And then I'm playing a few other festivals and some I can't announce yet.
Right on. Well, we'll look forward to that. I'm sure we can stay up to date on your website, angelicappelman.com, for all the latest information. And Angelica, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Your story is incredibly inspirational. It doesn't surprise me one bit that you're going to be getting some national attention and being able to share your story with all these different platforms and different audiences. Your perseverance and courage is great to hear, and I'm glad you're able to get behind a microphone and sing and share your words and share your story. So, Angelica, it's been an absolute pleasure, and hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much, Aaron. It's been a pleasure on my end too, and I'm just so grateful for you covering this story. And us independent artists, we need all the help that we can get to get our music and our messages out there. So thank you so much.